Part 1. The Crusades, a chaotic holy mess. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're diving into the wild, gritty, and downright chaotic world of the Crusades, a time when religious passion, muddy roads, questionable armor, and some truly terrible decisions smashed together in epic fashion. Whether you were a knight, a peasant, or just some guy with a donkey, the Crusades were ready to wreck your week and maybe your whole life. Before we get rolling, take a second to hit that like button if you're excited for this journey, and subscribe if you're digging the content. It really helps keep the channel going. Drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It's always wild to see who's joining us from across the globe. All right, grab a snack, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that cozy background hum, and let's step into this medieval madness together. Picture this. You're sitting in your village, minding your own business, when a fiery preacher in a robe storms in, yelling about sin, salvation, and how Jerusalem is somehow your problem. You're not 100% sure where Jerusalem is, somewhere east of France, maybe south of your pig farm, but you nod along anyway. The Pope's out here promising full forgiveness of sins if you join this holy mission. That's a sweet deal, especially after that thing you did last spring behind the mill house. You thought God missed it, but apparently he's got a ledger. Plus, let's be real, you're bored out of your mind. You've been plowing the same field for 14 years, eating nothing but barley, onions, and whatever didn't escape the stew pot. Someone mentions eternal glory, and that sounds way better than milking goats in the rain again. So you sign up. Well, sign up is generous. It's more like you get roped into it during a blurry tavern night. 3 mugs of bad ale and a surge of misplaced confidence later, you're swearing a holy oath. Next morning, you wake up hungover, clutching a wooden cross and wearing someone else's boots. Still, you're feeling heroic. You're a crusader now. You've got a cross sewn onto your tunic, a priest's blessing, and a fuzzy dream of being showered in gold and glory. Problem is, you've got 0 military training, no map, and no armor. They told you to bring what you could, so you're rocking a kitchen knife, a frying pan, and whatever's left of your pride. Your neighbor Gerald? He's got a rake and a terrifyingly intense attitude. Your family asks if God's covering your meals on this trip. You laugh. You shouldn't have. You're now part of one of history's most disorganized, poorly planned mass movements. You're about to march thousands of miles with no logistics, no reliable food supply, and more blind faith and brain cells. You haven't even left your village yet, and you're already wondering what you've gotten yourself into. Spoiler, it's going to get worse. Before you even take your first step, someone hands you a chainmail shirt that smells like it's been through some things. You were promised shining, noble armor. What you get is a rusty, hand-me-down iron sweater that reeks of regret. It's heavy, not, oh, this is a bit much heavy, but I'm wearing a grumpy anvil heavy. Putting it on feels like getting tackled by a blacksmith shop. Your helmet? It's conical, dented, and clearly designed by someone who had a personal grudge against necks. No padding, just cold metal slow-cooking your skull. For your legs? Just wool. No fancy greaves unless you're rich or lucky. You're neither. So, you wrap your legs like a sad gift and pray they survive the rocks you're about to trudge over. Your shoes? Forget heroic leather boots. You're stuck with turned shoes, soft leather slippers that barely protect you from mud, let alone a battlefield. 1 mile in, you've got a blister so big it could start its own religion. Your surcoat, that bright fabric with a red cross meant to show your side, it's already less white, more beige, with mystery stains and a cross painted by a guy who also sharpens pigs. There's no uniformity in this army. One guy's in full mail, another's got a pot on his head, and Gerald, yep, shirtless, has a wooden shield he carved himself that says, Jesus, watch this in terrible Latin. You try to tie your belt, but you cinch it too tight and nearly black out. Your sword, if you're lucky enough to have one, is dull, wobbly, and seems to hate you personally. You tell yourself you look like a knight. You don't. You look like a scared turnip wrapped in optimism and steel. But it's too late now. You're packed, dressed, and totally unprepared. The trumpets blare, or maybe it's just some guy shouting, and the crusade's moving. So are you, very slowly, very uncomfortably. This isn't a glorious cavalry charge. It's a long, groaning shuffle across Europe with thousands of confused, underfed people dragging carts, goats, kids, and one dude who insists on bringing a piano. Everyone's armed, but only some weapons were meant for fighting. One guy's got a pitchfork. Another tied a hammer to a broomstick and calls it God's toothpick. Your shoulders are already screaming from the chainmail digging into your neck. Your boots are turning your feet into soup. Your pack, 2 onions and a stale biscuit, feels heavier with every step. Someone sneezes behind you, and you briefly consider running for it. The noise is relentless. People talking, arguing, praying, singing, coughing. A noble rides by, yells something vaguely inspiring like, "Forward, men," and then vanishes for the day. You trip on a rock, sprain your dignity, and get stepped on by a donkey. The sun's out, cheerful as ever. You're not. You're sweating in places you didn't know could sweat. Your thighs are chafing like it's divine punishment. Your water's warm, tastes like regret, and smells like iron. There are rules. March in ranks, ration your food, respect the villages, but no one's listening. Gerald ate his week's rations by lunch. You try not to hate him. You fail. Then the rains hit. Just when you think you're getting the hang of this, the skies open up like a sarcastic baptism. Your surcoat clings to you like wet guilt. The roads turn to mudslides. You fall twice, once forward, once backward. The goat laughs. By nightfall, you've walked 12 miles and aged 12 years. You collapse in wet grass next to a snoring stranger whose snores could be weaponized. You sleep terribly, like a brick in a bucket. Only 2,000 miles to go. By day 4, your stomach's singing desperate hymns for food, the kind you only hear at funerals. You were promised supplies. Technically, they exist. They're just moldy, missing, or hoarded by a guy named Brother Ulrich, who's fasting for spiritual clarity while chewing in the dark. Breakfast, if you're lucky, is a chunk of black bread so dense it could double as a siege weapon. You chew for 20 minutes, make no progress, and just sort of gnaw until your teeth give up. Your buddy claims his bread has a nail in it. No one's shocked. Lunch? There is no lunch, just the ghost of lunch past. You eat some dried peas that taste like despair and medieval dust. Someone offers you salted fish they've been keeping in their sock. You decline. By afternoon, everyone's hangry and seeing things. One guy swears he sees a fig tree. It's a scarecrow. Another starts licking his sword, claiming it tastes like glory. It's rust. He's got tetanus now. Feeding an army on the move is a logistical nightmare. Supply lines are long, poorly managed, and sometimes raided by locals who aren't thrilled about donating their winter food to crusaders who just stomp their crops. So you forage. You find berries. Gerald says they're fine. Gerald once ate a candle, so you're skeptical. You try them anyway. They're not fine. You spend 2 hours behind a tree, questioning your life choices. Dinner stew, mysterious, glorious stew. No one knows what's in it. You find something chewy. You don't ask if it's rabbit or boot leather. Both seem likely. By nightfall, you're full. Not of food, just regret. You dream of bread that doesn't fight back and cheese that isn't green on purpose. You miss your mom's onion soup. It's only day 4. Part 2. The Crusades, Smells, Sickness, and Suspicious Locals. Welcome back, everyone. We're deep in the muck of the Crusades now, trudging through a medieval mess of faith, filth, and some seriously bad decisions. If you're just joining us, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out part 1 for the full scoop on how you, a random peasant, got roped into this holy disaster. Let's pick up where we left off. Day 4, starving, sweaty, and wondering why you ever left your pig farm. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're tuning in from and what time it is there. All right, let's dive back into chaos. At this point, you officially smell like a mix of wet, iron, regret, and something you're praying isn't fungal. Hygiene, that's a distant memory, like clean socks or personal space. You haven't bathed in over a week, and neither has anyone else. The whole crusading army's got what historians politely call a strong collective aroma. You're a walking cheese wheel of sweat, dust, and medieval BO. Soap? If someone says they have soap, they're either lying or they carved it from tallow and desperation. Water's scarce, and what little you find is for drinking or pouring on wounds while yelling. Washing your body? That's for nobles and people with fewer blisters. Your clothes, once proudly stitched with a red cross, now look like they've been through a war with a mud pit. Your undergarments have practically fused to your skin in places. Your boots are damp, possibly alive, and definitely mad at you. 'Cause, oh, they've moved in. You name them. You try to negotiate. They're winning. One guy swears his helmet's haunted. It's just lice throwing a rave. Everyone's itching. It's the unofficial marching rhythm. Scratch, scratch, shuffle, groan. You think about bathing in a river, but it's freezing, filthy, and already occupied by a guy crying into his underwear. You nod respectfully and back away. Bodily functions? No latrines. You go where you can, behind bushes, under wagons, or wherever dignity finally waves the white flag. Privacy? Nope. You've got eye contact stories with strangers you'll never unsee. There's one guy, nobody knows his name, who's somehow still clean. His armor shines, his face is clear, he smells like lavender. He's either a saint or a hallucination. Either way, you hate him. You dream of soap, bathtubs, dry feet, but mostly a breeze that doesn't smell like 30 guys and one bad stew. You're not clean. You're not even close. The real crusade isn't against enemies with swords. It's against the guy 3 rows back who just coughed something apocalyptic. Speaking of coughing, medieval medicine is less science and more herb-fueled interpretive dance. If you get sick, you've got 3 options: prayer, bleeding, or being told to walk it off. Spoiler, none work, especially when what you've got is spreading faster than tavern gossip. It starts small, a sniffle, a cough, someone pukes behind a bush. Everyone ignores it. By day 2, 5 more are coughing. Gerald's got something purple on his neck he calls a heat rash. You start planning your funeral. Tents turn into infirmaries, or as crusaders call them, places where hope goes to wheeze. Healers are overwhelmed. Their toolkit? Cloth bandages, leeches, and sheer willpower. Sometimes they burn herbs. Sometimes they just wave them near you and hope you improve out of awkwardness. Symptoms aren't subtle. Fever, chills, nausea, swelling, and a feeling like your organs are on strike. You try to be brave, then see someone cured with a hot poker and decide you're miraculously better. Sanitation's a myth. Waste goes in random fields. Water's questionable at best, weaponized at worst. You fill your flask from a stream, then spot 3 horses upstream using it as a bathroom. You drink anyway. Hydration's hydration. Priests call it test from God. Knights blame the devil. The barmaid who tagged along for reasons says it's because nobody washes their hands. She's ignored, but probably right. You try to avoid the sick, then realize everyone's sick, including you. Your throat's on fire, your stomach's sending cryptic messages, and your last bath was a month ago. The math isn't promising. Worst part, you haven't even fought anyone yet. You're losing to soup germs. You're hoping for a warm welcome from the towns along the way. Big mistake. Locals see your crusading party like a shepherd sees wolves wearing crosses, suspicious, tense, ready to hide the livestock. To them, you're not a holy army. You're a plague parade trampling crops, borrowing stuff, and singing war hymns at midnight like tone-deaf demons. You roll into a town hoping to trade for food. The gates are barred. A bishop peeks from a tower and crosses himself at you. A monk offers a cabbage if you leave now. Language barriers make it worse. You try asking for water, but accidentally demand someone's wife. You explain your holy mission and somehow propose to a goat. The goat's not interested. Negotiations fail. If you get into a town, it's price gouging, glares, and snarky comments about your smell. You buy bread older than your shoes and ale that doubles as paint thinner. Someone gives you directions to Jerusalem. You follow them for 2 days before realizing they just sent you to the next village. In foreign lands, it's even uglier. Locals don't care about your papal blessings or your homemade flag. They want their goats, fields, and peace back. Trust is low, especially after other crusaders just passing through raided their stuff. A kid throws a turnip at your head. It's the most accurate shot you've seen all week. You're marching east, probably. Truth is, nobody knows where they're going. No GPS, no road signs saying Jerusalem this way. Most of your group thinks the Holy Land's just past Constantinople, which they also can't find. Your commander's got a map. Kind of. It's a hand-drawn scroll with 3 towns, 2 rivers, and what looks like a dragon doodle. You suspect the artist wasn't big on geography. Still, the commander waves it like it's divine and yells forward at every fork. Confidence beats accuracy, apparently. You hire a local guide with coins, wine, and a promise not to trample him. He points east, nods wisely, and disappears before breakfast. You're starting to think east just means not here. One guy swears he knows the way from a dream. Another read a scroll once. Gerald, still shirtless and now sunburned, says he's following divine whispers on the wind. The wind's saying, you're lost. You cross the same stream 3 times. You pass a rock you're sure you've seen before. A monk insists it's a different, holier rock. You're not buying it. The terrain's brutal, forests, swamps, mountains. One road's so steep your boots slide more than step. Half the army's waddling sideways like confused crabs. Spirits are low. Feet are lower. Then someone says the worst, I think we took a wrong turn. You're miles from home, surrounded by people who think geography's a dessert, and nobody wants to admit they're lost. So you keep marching proudly, aimlessly, faithfully. Every direction leads somewhere, right? Whether it's Jerusalem, a Byzantine outpost, or another unlucky goat village, who knows? Onward you go, fueled by divine purpose, stale bread, and stubborn denial. You thought it'd be glorious, banners waving, swords clashing poetically, enemies falling in tidy heaps like a bard's tale. Nope. You get dirt in your mouth, chaos in your soul, and the sinking realization that nobody knows what they're doing. The first thing you notice in battle is the screaming, not just from the enemy, not just from your side, from everyone, including you. There's a strategy, sure, but it's mostly yelling, charge, and hoping the other guy's more confused. Spoiler, he's not. Your helmet blocks your vision. Your sword's too heavy. You try to lift your shield, then realize Gerald borrowed it to cook bacon and didn't give it back. Archers fire too early. The front line surges forward. The back line panics and surges back. Someone's trampled by their own horse. Another guy's fighting with a frying pan. You see a man trip, stab his own foot, and blame Satan. He might be onto something. You run toward the chaos because everyone else is, and peer pressure's real. Dust chokes the air. You swing wildly, hit your own helmet, and scream. It's very brave. The enemy's fast, skilled, loud. You lock eyes with one and realize he's like 15 and way better at this than you. You consider playing dead or actually being dead. Both sound nice. Horns blare. Commands get shouted in 5 languages, and someone's singing a tavern song about sheep. Is it intimidation or insanity? Either way, it's working. After what feels like forever, the noise dies down. Survivors crawl away, panting, bruised, and smelling like bad stew and worse choices. You're one of them, somehow. You're bleeding from your ankle, don't know how. Gerald's at your helmet now, using it as a soup bowl. Was it glorious? Not really. But you're alive, and in the Crusades, that's basically a win.